Today we're going to talk about the science of Sub-Zero's ice powers. I'm going to need help on this one. Hello, Doctor of Course? I'm sorry. Doctor of Course, MD, PhD, BBQ, GG, shake my hand.
It's important to note that cold really isn't a thing. It's more of an absence of heat. Things become cold due to the second law of thermodynamics, which states that heat will always try to equalize. A hot cup of coffee becomes cold because it's hotter than the room it's in, and thus gives off heat to said room. Now, under no circumstances could heat travel fast enough to freeze someone in place, i.e. literally turn someone into a popsicle. Luckily, Sub-Zero isn't doing that. You see, when Sub-Zero hits a frozen opponent, they break out of a frozen state. In fact, this happens when he punches them as well. So it's fairly clear that Sub-Zero is not freezing, rather he's encasing them in some form of frozen substrate. What is a substrate? Well, we see right here in front of us when Sub-Zero throws an ice ball, we see shards of ice and frost coming out of his hands and heading towards the opponent. This is likely a super cool gel-like substance that, when distributed by his opponent, body heat creates an ultra-fast freezing reaction. We can see this happen in real life. Water can be super cool to remain liquid, and upon disturbing it, it will freeze solid in seconds. Of course, whatever Sub-Zero is throwing at his opponent is likely much colder than water, and we do have petroleum-based gels which can go to absolute absurd low temperatures. So, Sub-Zero throws this substance at his opponent, or makes a statue of himself in the case of the ice clone. At this point, it rapidly expands and freezes into a hardened layer around said opponent that they are not strong enough to break out of. But it only lasts a short while, because very quickly thermodynamics kick back in again to break the frozen shell down and let them escape, so our buddy Sub-Zero can just, get back into getting a bunch of cheap shots in. His ice weapons, his ice walls, other ice abilities would essentially operate the same, just with different applications of the same quick freezing substrate. And his fatalities would similarly operate the same, because even if he does use his powers to freeze his opponent to make them brittle, after he kills them, their blood is still running around, which makes their insides still warm. Thus, the effect is still topical at best. Now, on the question of where Sub-Zero keeps this substance is completely up in the air. They use something called chiromancy, which is a frost magic. I mean, it could be coming from a fourth dimension, or is just simply out of thin air. Or just, have you checked his pockets? Could be in his pants.
And I said to him, Super Collider, I barely even know her. Oh, are we done? Oh, okay. So that was the science of Sub-Zero's ice powers.